Hello.
Hello.
Here we are. Ready to start whatever the hell the next Ace Attorney case is.
Something Kokoro.
Yes. Hello, here we are. Alright.
Wee.
Look at me. I haven't even touched my Switch since like yesterday.
No, you haven't, have you? You did take it with you to bed, but you didn't touch it.
No. Take it to bed sounds so sussy.
I know, I just realised that. You took it to bed, but you didn't touch it. Something about consent. And I don't know what.
It's going well. Yeah. So both of us are sleepy.
Yeah, we are. Oh, why does the sleepy happen?
I don't know.
Hello, Ganondorf.
Hello. But yeah, I hope this case will wake us up.
Yeah, fingers crossed, eh? It's time to go to the past.
Oh, we got to see the arts.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh my god, did we go to the Crystal Tower?
Yeah, neat.
I think it is.
It looks like the Crystal Tower to me.
The Great Departed Soul.
Because also, isn't there the Crystal Palace on the top left of it?
I think so, yeah. Twisted Karma
and his last bow. Oh, I don't know about that. Wasn't his last bow when Sherlock Holmes died?
Oh, what? The resolve for Rinosuke Naruhodo. Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
What? That looks very
That's
final,
very
doesn't
sinister, isn't it? Crikey.
Still really love this one, though.
Yeah.
So good.
Mm-hmm. That is so...
Utenako. I'm sorry, Paul. The pink hair and the stylization.
No. Sherlock Holmes, his last bow is for the story in the original Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Sholmes, but Sherlock Holmes, I think his last bow was one of the very final ones. Because that was the whole... Yeah. So I don't know. I was talking, what's his name? Arthur Conan Doyle stories.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't talking Sholmes.
No. I'm pretty sure Sholmes will be fine.
I hope so. My God.
Can you imagine?
You haven't read a thing of that. Well, that's fair. Not everybody has.
No, I actually haven't read it.
No, you haven't either.
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road.
We know this one.
As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind had been resolved.
Yeah, why did they make her so thin?
But no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight, than in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night.
Yeah. Iris' story. I think you're right.
I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death. The condemned criminal's curse. The dread demon of coal gas. Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene...
Oh, do you think we get to do the detectiving again?
It only proved to be the overture that announced the rising of the curtain on a most tragic play.
Yeah.
I hope we get to do... I mean, we get to find out what the hell that weird actor guy was about.
I can talk again!
Yay!
My name is Rinosuke Naruhodo. I'm a fledgling lawyer just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law, having made the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, legitimately, I don't have to read for 5 seconds, I've got how to do it, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective.
Reading is hard.
It is. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings from where I run my legal consultancy of sorts. I've successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey.
The number is 2.
But since a particularly grueling and forgettable legal battle from 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. But that epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from slumber. Thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland.
Oh, so this is present day, Rinosuke.
Yeah.
He Hungry boy.
Yeah. That's what happens when you have to make your own breakfast, right? What a delicious smell. What a delicious smell wafting from up the stairs. It must be nearly time for breakfast. I'd better go down to Mr. Sherm's suite and say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. Looks the same.
Yeah. I missed it.
30th of August. Sherm's suite. Hi, Iris.
Oh, Bruno, good! I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready.
I'm hungry now. I just had dinner and I'm hungry.
Sorry that I don't feed you enough.
Bacon man. My weakness.
Bacon man.
Good morning, Iris. It smells delicious as usual. Before we eat though, I have some news. I had a surprise.
Shh! Not another word, Mr. Naruhodo! This could be just the abstruse thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation. Repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow.
Look, his machine is
Oh,
here.
sorry. My pre-breakfast stagnation repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow. Sorry, it took me a hot minute. Yes, his machine's back. That's nice to see. I couldn't work out the hell he was trying to say for a second there.
Understandably.
Ha!
Morning to you too, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, yes, I see. So that's it.
Okay, great. We got jump scared by Sholmes. Good God.
The truth is as clear to me as day. My faculties of observation have revealed it again.
What are you talking about?
You, Mr. Naruhodo, you have this very morning met with a surprise.
Well,
is that not the case?
Well,
Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning.
can I talk now?
Not of course, though I don't look for admiration, you understand.
My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you.
Oh, it has?
And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you!
Hey, pulled your button off!
Should we be discussing this in front of Iris?
Fanfic!
Man, he gets around! Sholmes and Funsies!
Maybe at the same time. Ah, yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not?
This is not getting
Oh.
Is this a euphemism, Sholmes?
Yeah. As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder then that in my vexation I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place.
Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket.
And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes.
Help.
What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring.
But, Hurley, Bruno said it when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning.
Well, that really is a surprise.
Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire. The famous consulting detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name.
Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it goes cold. It's your arch nemesis, Mr. Bacon Man!
I want to beat Mr. Bacon Man. Wait.
Well, you can't. It's your one weakness. Mr. Bacon Man used sizzle. It's super effective. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend. It should help with that button problem Hurley's been having.
And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sham's lodger and companion. A truly exceptional young girl who is the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, as published in Rand's magazine.
I don't know anything about you and your locking swords and all your violin playing because I'm 10.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, won't you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning?
I received a letter from Japan.
Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it? Really?
That's right, and she had some rather startling news, in fact.
Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast.
Oh, yes! What fun!
Look, examine. Alright, let's go! It's probably the same shit as earlier, but I don't care. Come on. Oh, wait, it's this button. Well, the game didn't tell me how to use the buttons, I guess. We have done the tutorial, so that machine really is imposing, isn't it? But I can never remember its name.
Hurley calls it his Great Analytoscope. It can analyze anything at all.
I should analyze the trajectory of that button. That doesn't really help me. What does analyzing something even mean? Yeah, to be honest.
Ah, an extremely astute question, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry.
Well, as Iris said, my machine here spits out analysis results of anything with which you care to present it. But how to interpret those results, that's the key, and I confess I have no idea. Clearly I'm going to have to construct our great analytoscope to solve the problem.
That might not help. Well, we still talk about junk books, papers, scientific implements. These shelves are stuffed to the gunnels. Mrs. Otto wouldn't be able to help herself if she were here. She can't stand mess.
Susie might not be able to stand mess, but she wouldn't dare touch these shelves.
Oh, why not?
Everything's in an intricate balance. Hurley spends ages on it. If you were to touch even one thing, the whole lot would come tumbling down.
Shows the nice dog things the same way.
Yes, you do. And we know not to disturb that rainforest. No, 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 no,
No,
no.
you should have taught your father not to touch it.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I know.
You need it? Okay.
To be fair, you tell my father not to touch something, he's instantly going to touch it and break it, so...
Lack of storage space means that I have a very
Delicate.
bad way of putting my stock boxes together, and I need to clear it out, but I haven't. I work on it, and then things happen, and then I'm too busy working in order to do clearing,
Yeah.
and I try to not let it get worse, but it sure as fuck ain't better yet. But yeah, no, legitimately, if you move one of those boxes the wrong way,
Yeah.
you legitimately might get an alpha load.
Not necessarily straight away.
No!
Frequently in
No.
half an hour to an hour, when you least expect it, you just hear a creaking noise, and then boom,
Yeah, but
death.
the boxes have always specific shapes, so if you put the wrong box back in the wrong place, it's, anyway.
Susie noticed it was a very delicate arrangement right from the outset.
I make it sound like a meeting of great minds. But the truth is, Mr. Sholmes just needs to tidy up. No, this clearly has a system.
Clearly it does, yeah.
These are the things we don't want to think about. That's that stack there.
Yep.
These are some books that you probably read once upon a point and put away.
Those papers in there are really urgent and needed sorting, like
These
last week.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these these are the things that you were working on, but you opened a window and it just blew on the ground.
Or
And
you
have
just moved.
Yeah, and you have ADHD, so you forgot that they existed.
Yeah, because
so
you
they
can't
no
see
longer
them
see
anymore
them.
because they are below the level of your sight line. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so he needs to tidy up also. Oh, let's check out his violin. Ah yes, Mr. Sholmes' faithful musical companion. Wasn't his violin made by somebody famous?
Yes, it's a Stradivarius. Though I'm afraid you'd have to save up for 100 years before you could afford one, Runo.
But didn't you buy it for a song, Mr. Sholmes?
I found it at a pawnbrokery among the forfeited articles. It clearly said Stradivarius on the label.
What?
The ignorant broker had no idea of its true value, you see, so I paid a mere 55 shillings for it. Yes, I have something of a turn for shopping. Herlock Sholmes, bargain hunter.
But is it really a Stradivarius though?
But of course, my dear fellow. It said so on the label.
I think perhaps the ignorant broker had something of a turn for selling. Ooh.
You should arguably say Stradivarius somewhere inside it, I believe. But I don't know nothing about none of that. At least it's not a viola.
Oh, are we still gonna comment on the fact that like some of those portraits are the lady?
Oh yeah, I love the fact that some of those are just
Sholmes in
dressed
disguise.
up, yeah.
Yeah, when it gets to this time of the year, Londoners seem to leave their hearts alight all day long, and I love it. Not
August.
anymore.
Not anymore, no.
No, August, like, there's something very relaxing about watching the flames flit and dance about. Gonna make this like a criminal offense at this point, isn't it? Like,
But a fireplace in days of summertime is a waste of space. Really, no use at all.
Rather like a great detective in days of no crimes and no criminals, Hurley?
But consider this. Instead of a fireplace, a frost place. That's my latest idea. An extraordinary hearth from which emanates a cool breeze in the hot summer months. What do you think?
I think if you invented such a thing, your name would go down in history.
The principle is extremely simple. One must, of course, light a cold fire in the hearth.
Yes, of course! Brilliant!
The trouble is, none of the fires I build ever burn cold. How it taunts me!
So, as you British say, it's a bit of a damp squib.
Inosuke's learning. I'm so proud of him.
He was an English student.
Yeah, that's true, but he's doing very well.
These are different pieces of evidence from cases you've solved, aren't they, Mr. Sholmes?
Not quite, Mr. Naruhodo. Not quite. These trinkets are a selection from cases I've solved with particular aplomb. They are souvenirs of my success. Memories, Mr. Naruhodo. Memories.
Yeah, trophies, get it. Really?
Yeah.
So, tell me about the case with the bust of the Napoleon feature, sorry.
Well, I can tell you about that one.
Huh.
But he can't. I forget.
Memories, he says. Wonderful, Mr. Sholmes. Wonderful.
The whole story about plaster bust of Napoleon.
I don't remember. Ah, yes, the huge metal chest with lace cloth laid on it. Being used as a table for tea and coffee.
You've never read them, so why would you remember it?
Ah, is it really a metal chest? Those things were usually made out of metal and wood.
No,
Aren't they?
often sometimes metal though.
Really? Holy shit, those things must have been horrid.
Yeah, well.
It's very sturdy, that's for sure, and firmly shut.
That chest contains my father's detailed records of Hurley's many cases.
What? Yes, so I've been led to believe. Though, personally, I've never actually seen inside.
And that's the way it will stay. Those papers are a secret between Daddy and me. If you go opening it uninvited, you might find yourself being bitten.
What? Is there a beast inside there or something? Looks at the fire. fireplace like that. Let's look at this board again. Ah yes, this is where you note down your ideas, isn't it, Iris? What's in the melting pot today? The blue carbuncle.
I remember that story too.
Yes, it's from a case of theft that Hurley solved ages ago. The theft of a precious stone. A carbuncle is another name for a garnet, you see, especially if it's cut with a rounded top.
Oh, really? And this garnet was blue, was it?
Well, that's the thing. They're usually red. No blue garnets have ever been discovered.
Oh.
So who knows what the stolen gemstone actually was? That's the real mystery of the case.
A proper Sherlock Holmes conundrum, huh? Yeah, Iris bits your hand clean off like if you touch it. Yeah. She just
What's the one?
chomp.
Lucky she's not cutting flaps in you.
There are so many different bottles up there on that charming little set of white shelves.
Oh, do be careful, Runo. You mustn't try the contents of any of those bottles, even if you're hungry.
I wouldn't do something stupid like that. I'm not a child, you know.
Well, I wish I could say the same for Hurley. The other day he polished off a full bottle of one of my alkaloids.
That's what you get when he runs out of coffee.
Yeah.
What?
He said he was hungry.
I'll be extra careful.
I can type with my eyes shut, you know.
I can believe it. When a deadline's approaching, you sound like a Gatling gun.
That reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was such a funny one. It woke me, actually. I was typing for a whole hour in the pitch black, but I didn't make a single mistake.
That's incredible!
But then, when it got light, I found that there wasn't any paper in the machine. Now I wonder if I'd actually been typing at all.
I think you might have fallen asleep on the job. Nothing exciting here? No, apparently not.
Apparently not.
That's too
I like the way the light on the floor is shining through the little greenhouse.
Oh gosh,
wash thing.
yeah.
It's really, really prettily
I didn't
done.
notice that. Holy shit.
It's simple to me, but sorry.
Hello. I look forward to finding out what aroma your tea will have, Iris, every single day.
Oh, well, I infuse a different concoction of herbs from the garden every time, so it's never the same twice.
When you call it a concoction, it sounds more like a science experience than something for tea time. Yeah, thank you.
Oh yes, that's because different blends can have very different properties. Some calm you down, some make you feel jolly, some give you energy.
Iris.
What kind of herbs?
Iris, what are you growing?
Today's particular blend is something quite special, so you're really in for a treat.
That sounds ominous. Oh, you know, Sham's supposed he gets his caffeine.
Yeah.
Caffeine, yeah.
Caffeine,
Alright. I think we let's have a talk with Shams. Miss Sujato's letter. This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning by international post.
Oh, how lovely! Look at Susie's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it.
And how is your judicial assistant faring? May I ask?
She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case.
Oh, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful?
Maybe that's why Gregson seems to be so happy anytime he gets some tea. That's a good
Oh, it's like, oh, free
Yeah.
tea,
point.
yes.
Yeah. Cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I can't read today. It's good, isn't it?
A mixture of us. I've won cases too, you know. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness.
Natsume. No, I don't recall that name.
Of course you do. We helped the man twice. You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago.
Ah, the moustached twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and the moustache.
He didn't have 2 moustaches. Moustaches?
Okay. Yes, who could forget those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression on me. As did his moustaches. Jeez. Although I must confess, the details are a little hazy now.
A very deep impression they made on you, clearly. Alright, startling news.
So, what was this startling news penned by Miss Susato?
Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Shams?
Ah yes, it's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur.
He's totally forgotten them. Anyway, in her letter, Miss Susato asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further.
Though it took place half a year ago. For what purpose?
Because of something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings.
Oh?
On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Miss Susato's father questioned him about the case, she says. And something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send a telegram.
Oh, that case, yes. It was very strange, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I had compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication, too. But then Hurley here was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story must not be published, you said, very mysteriously as well.
Really? I said that? Are you sure?
Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Shams? About why Miss Susato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan?
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan.
Bet Dover smelled better back then.
I bet it did, yeah. Indeed it was, due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe.
That's right, telling her to return urgently.
Yes, because her father had passed away.
No! It just said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead! But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so that she'd make the voyage back home? Why would he do that?
I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that. I wonder what Miss Susato's father is hiding.
Hurley, do you know what it's all about?
Oh boy. Ah, well, who can say?
What? But you said...
Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. I see he's remembered. And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel, even if I were quite at leisure.
Hello to you.
Hello to you. We are back in England, yes, and the present day.
Yeah.
So, man the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris?
I will, Hurley. Don't worry. See you later.
He scuttled off rather quickly there. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Suzeki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Mr. Sholmes. It's so bizarre, this segment. What?
No, right?
Aha! I found them at last!
Iris, are they...
The notes about the case? That's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Runo?
I'm sorry. Every time he does the flourishing bow, all you can think of is River's salute from Battle. Yes.
But which one?
Which?
No, no, I know, but there were multiple.
There weren't they? He had a whole collection.
He had a whole
of them.
collection of them.
Yeah. For special occasions.
But yeah, exactly.
It's like he came up
That was
with a
it.
special one for every.
Yeah, I can't remember what he called them, but there was like, there was like the half rimmer for when you had to like, you were in a hurry. There was like the 5 something. I don't know. I can't remember. All I remember is the half rim. But yeah, no, I see exactly what you mean, and now I will not be able to see. I mean, unsee that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you, Iris. I have no idea what secrets could be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light.
That's the spirit! Does that mean that Hurley is at me?
You want to go there?
Do
you want to go as far as doing
wanna
it
go
like
there?
that?
Hurley, you'll arrest me.
And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation and that fierce battle in court that follows. Reliving every detail. I just need to find a clue. And I have all the time in the world. Because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the court of Great Britain. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. On account of the fact that you
Pissed off Strongheart.
pissed off Strongheart, and also he did a lie in court. Oh, also he
We did not commit any crimes in court. Oh, what did we?
Well, no. Okay, Susato withheld evidence.
Yeah, she.
We had them play government secrets in the courtroom.
Yeah, well, that was necessary.
Yeah.
Like, Van Ziek's approved, so clearly didn't do anything illegal.
We probably pissed off Strongheart, and oh yeah, we did that unforgivable sin of defending somebody who was actually guilty.
Yeah, like lawyers.
Like lawyers are supposed to.
Oh no, he was guilty! Yeah, well, he's I'm a
guilty,
defense
oh,
lawyer. What was I supposed to do? Like, literally my
I just
job.
remembered I forgot to get my little inhaler thing again, even though I was like,
It's
"Please."
not-
It's not an inhaler, I know.
It's reminding you, but you're like, no. Anyway. I'll wait a second before I continue.
Thanks very much. I'm back. Don't you sigh at me. Don't you be like, ugh.
It was 6 months ago, a mysterious incident that unfolded on the wintry streets of London. Yes. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement of Friar Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident.
Yeah, how dare a defense lawyer, I don't know, established reasonable doubt.
Uh-huh.
The horror.
Yeah, I was reading all that. The fog was thick.
Like me.
Nobody saw her attacker, but by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time and was duly arrested. That man was Suzeki-san, and the man who was affected. And the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes.
Naughty.
Believing in her compatriot's innocence, Susato-san and I decided to represent Suzeki-san in court. And after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence.
There were some twists and turns. Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation!
Was the man's reaction after the trial? But his jubilant jubilation was short-lived. We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning.
He's dead!
The victim of the Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to the bar. To Bart's at once. To the Bart.
To the Barts!
That's the.
To the Bartman.
So Susatas and I summoned a
Handsome.
Thank you, and headed immediately to the hospital.
It's a type of cab.
Yeah. Is that where
With the
handsome
horses.
song comes from? No, I know it's not the same. So it's handsome, not handsome. Oh my god, what am I looking at here?
Hospital.
Why is there a rat?
It's a doctor. Oh my god. You're so speciesist. that rat has a PhD.
It's a really cute rat.
It is. Wow.
That's also a fancy rat. That's not a wild rat.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. Dr. Rat, MD. How dare you? He is a specialist.
Don't know, I'm pretty sure that's a female rat.
Yeah, you're right. I don't see massive balls. Well,
It's also a top here, so it's actually insane.
That's
so I'm
true,
not sure it
yeah.
should have a anyway.
there you are at last.
Good morning, Mr. Sholmes.
I think not.
I do really like the state of these British hospitals.
It's accurate.
Yeah.
Oh. You're late. What on earth took you so long? Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes, and it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital.
That's right. And it's only 5:30 now. I think we made very good time.
Yeah, it does only have one bed. I think there's another one to the right of the screen, though. Just off camera, so... The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I have been waiting for what has felt like an eternity.
Cannondoodles, this is a British hospital. You
We
think
don't
we
have
got
enough
beds.
beds.
God.
Everyone else gets to lie in the corridor, but there is one other bed in the room. So do know. If it's the same room that we've been in before, also Sholmes' bed over there.
Yeah.
So, oh, what was he? Did he say? 'Cause
Ha.
I didn't.
That was
Oh,
my
you?
line.
Ha.
I think,
Okay. In point of fact, I myself was awoken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy. You should put your phone on silent overnight, dummy. And feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour, I sent one to you.
Oh my god. I can appreciate this kind of petty shit, Sholmes.
Yes, he's a petty, vengeful morning person. Like,
Well, thanks for that.
anyway, you're here now, so... Sorry. Anyway, you're here now, so... The victim's over there. She's only just regained consciousness.
Imagine
She's
just having
being
raised
seen
concert-
to by her specialist, Dr. Rat, PhD, MD, BSc,
That is such a large... It's the size of a fucking...
SSc.
Wait, why is she so small?
She's far away. Okay, perspective, Socketwrench. We have to have a long talk about perspective.
Yeah, but
Now
the rat
this
is like at
cow
the same...
is larger because it is closer to you,
Shut
and
up.
this cow is further away because it's further away
Either
from.
that rat is giant or she's
Yes.
very tiny. Also, that's a giant bag and a giant bed. And anyway, you should. Okay, well, you should introduce her. No, she looks tiny.
It's very impressive that such a small rat got bronze and silver certificates. Thank you for picking that one up.
No, she doesn't look like she belongs with the movement.
No, she does. She does.
So that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with a knife in her back.
Her name is... Oh yes, here we are. Miss Green.
Miss Green.
Miss Green.
What?
With the pipe.
I
In
want
the
to examine
library.
the rat. Please let me examine the rat.
A mouse, Mr. Naruhodo. An enormous mouse.
Vermin in a hospital? That doesn't seem the best.
But it looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump.
It's the pet, isn't it? I'm not sure we can say that's down to the excellence of this facility, if that's what you're thinking.
It's a doctor!
That is
My God,
not
man!
A mouse. That is not a mouse. Okay, I want to check out this cool artwork. This rounded wooden figure isn't the most charming, is it? Wow, Ringosuke, shut your mouth.
Oh, right. Ah, I don't think that's a decoration, Mr. Naruhodo. It's an artist's mannequin, I believe, used when practicing sketching the human form in different poses.
Really? It's not exactly what you'd call a typical figure for that purpose, though, is
Ringosuke,
it?
please!
Holy shit, man!
Wow! No, I suppose not. I confess I've never seen one quite so full-figured before.
Well, if you want to draw a figured person, it's the right tool for the job.
Some people spend their entire careers doing nothing but that.
Yeah,
Cool. I mean,
we are not fat shaming here,
No,
Ringosuke.
great.
Fuck you!
you're allowed to, I guess, be surprised by it. I suppose.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is a
But
bit weird,
not quite. No, I don't know. As you say, I hope it's not going to be a fat joke in the end. Twitch saying it failed to send your message. That's fun. Huh. Twitch is like, no commentary from you. Banned. How strange.
That's weird. Look, there's a photograph in this frame here. Oh, he's very much painter coded,
Yeah,
isn't
he is, isn't he? Oh yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman. It looks like he's got pictures of her on the wall too.
Yeah.
So maybe she's his muse.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
He looks to be about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think?
My, Mr. Naruhodo. I didn't know you had a sense for matters of the heart.
Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought of. Yeah, well, that's clearly what we were told, but...
Oh yeah, well of course there's an easel right there. I just
Yeah, I
noticed.
actually
And
not
a stool.
seen
No,
that.
I mean I noticed it, but then I stopped paying attention because I was too busy thinking about other things.
That must be a bag of Miss Green's personal belongings.
She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though.
I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her.
Oh, sorry. For her here.
Oh, it is a painting on the floor. You're right.
Oh. I know this, but
Yeah,
for
no,
a second
yeah,
thought
okay.
I make you miss something.
Hmm.
Alright then, let's see what's inside. What? We're just rummaging through her bags right
Yeah,
in front of
no,
her. It's like,
right, right.
hi. No, we...
Also, what Dio said, yes, of course, exactly. He's met the Garradibs. He bally well knows what the couples come in many sizes. It's true.
Yeah.
But I guess he's never seen one of the doohickeys, the mannequins,
Yeah.
be like larger figured. I don't know why I censored myself saying fat. Fat is a fine word to say.
Yeah. She is... It's
But-
not a bad thing.
No, exactly. I was just like, fat. No, can't say that. Full figured. No, fat is fine. But like, yeah, I mean, clearly he's been painting her. Hopefully not while she was unconscious.
Oh, God. Well, this took a dark turn all of a sudden. I was like, man.
I don't know. My muse, the sad poet, dead in a garage. That's what the rat's for. The rat is actually also an artist, model, and a doctor.
This is a very well-versed rat, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. It's like a sort of a Renaissance rat.
Alright, anyway, a change of clothes and out, and...
No, Mr. Naruhodo, you must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings.
Thank you, Cesato. Oh my
Yeah.
god. This
This
man is
man
now
is-
left by himself. Give
Yeah. Uh-huh. And with Mr. Sholmes' guidance.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mr. Sholmes.
Oh. But the young maiden might have some chocolates, or biscuits, or caramel.
If you want caramel, you should go to Sholmes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, he doesn't use for anything other than, like...
Taking imprints of discs and keys.
And we never used them!
We didn't. It's true.
We didn't! There was a whole thing! That he took the fucking... And then nothing happened with it!
Nothing happened with it, but we do know that he carries caramel. How off the rails do you think Ryusuke got in the time when Susato was away and he only had Sholmes and Iris' main company?
Yeah.
I think pretty off the rails. I think
Yeah, legitimately.
I'm glad that he was banned from being in court, really. Do you think it was the incident with the train that had him banned after all that? Do you think it wasn't anything?
Oh shit!
It was just
yeah,
like, well, yeah,
I
the
forgot.
rail company sued you.
I forgot.
So,
Yeah, they were like...
something, gross misconduct? Something,
Mhm.
something?
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot about the whole rail incident that Shams caused and then put onto our shoulders because
Shams is a bitch.
Yeah. I apologize. I'm feeding my Tamagotchi. Never get anything Kuchi based in the uni unless you want to continuously feed the bloody thing.
Yeah, they do get hungry. Yeah, see, that's mine. I fed it about the same time as you before and it's still full health.
Yeah.
Hunger.
Anyway. Oop, there we go.
Well.
This looks like the patient's treatment note. Let's see.
Hippa. Ryunoseke. Hippa.
Do not feed. What is this place? A zoo?
You know, I seem to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local...
For the pigeons, yes. This is a person! Poor woman. I hope she hasn't read this. Okay.
I think that should actually be nil by mouth, but okay. I'm pretty sure that should be nil by mouth. That's normally how that says. I mean...
There are lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that?
If you were a patient here, I feel sure you'd take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep.
Okay, so actually, Iris has all the reason to tell this dumbass to not drink her bottles because clearly he and Shams are exactly the fucking same.
I really though do hope that we don't keep doing these rat jokes still. But,
no.
I mean, not that was a... But no. I'm still stuck on the...
Yeah, that is a worry, but at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy looking one.
Oh, I've no doubt you've managed to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well.
Okay, we're also dragging me to Suke.
Yep.
There are limits even to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mrs. Otto. Hey, I managed to open a jar of beetroot in my sleep. Do not underestimate the power of sleepwalkers. You know what? I don't even like beets. I mean...
Sick beets.
Sick beets, yes. There are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet. Look, I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this.
Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two.
Okay, I see what that setup was. Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors.
I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you'd break the lock.
Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mrs. Otto.
Yeah, I don't see a lock either. Tiny, tiny, minuscule lock, obviously. Itty bitty bitty.
This looks like the treatment notes for whoever's occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital.
The patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so...
He or she is probably running around the hospital then.
Oh dear, how worrying.
What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. I mean, there's a whole bed that could be taken by somebody else. Yeah, it is weird.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Plot twist, it's Dr. Rat, MD, BSc, SSC.
Good morning. Hello, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan.
Oh no, was it your knife that... Are you the man who...
You hate he or she instead of just they. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree completely. But some people, for some reason, say that they takes them out more because
it could be plural.
Okay, go away. Still, hate it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so clunky.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know. It's like. No. I'm a lawyer.
And I'm Susato Mikotoba. Pleased to meet you. Oh no! Was it your knife then? Are you the one? No. I assure you, I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard that you'd regained consciousness and wanted to come to give you our best wishes. Best wishes? For me? Well, thank you. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist. Well, no, that's not right, is it? What I mean is, I'm trying to be an artist. Well, what I really mean is I desperately want to be an artist.
Don't do it. I said don't do it.
Yeah, no, it's not worth the trouble.
No.
But the truth is, I don't have any talent. I know I don't.
It's okay, you're using real media.
Yeah,
That means you're an artist, the end.
exactly.
It's no wonder I was stabbed in the back.
Okay, cool.
Talent is a lie, like
Yeah.
legitimately.
Mhm.
You may have an
It is.
affinity.
Yeah, exactly. You may have an affinity and pick stuff up more quickly, but
Yeah.
talent is complete.
Yeah.
It's certainly not the way it's become to be used.
No. Like so many people are like, oh my god, I'm so jealous of your talent. Oh what? Like I just started like this.
Yeah.
Like, bruh.
Yeah. It's like sometimes you can pick something up and no matter how hard you practice,
Yeah.
you will still be bad at it, even
Yeah.
if you enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, in a way, this talent isn't 100% a lie,
No.
but it's definitely not.
No.
It doesn't work in the same way
No.
that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's related actually.
Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down.
She obviously has a really low opinion of herself, probably because everybody keeps making weird fat jokes around her.
Yeah. Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. At least I made sure that she's clearly an attractive and sweet woman as well
Yeah,
in terms of
exactly.
design. So it's like,
Yeah,
excuse me.
quite.
To suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green.
It was so cold that day, and the fog was so thick, I couldn't see a thing. And that was 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right?
Sorry to break up for a second. Yeah, so here's the thing, for example, with art. I have no affinity for colours. I have studied colour theory. I know how shadows are supposed to work, but I can't wrap my head around it. I just can't do it. But what I can do are strong flat colours and lines. So what you then focus on are the things you can do.
Yeah. And occasionally you go and focus on the things you can't do for a bit, just to see if you can improve
Exactly.
bit by bit by bit by bit by bit
Yeah.
by bit.
Yeah. So
But,
yeah.
But yeah. It's just, but it is one of those things. There's no denying that some people, when they go to pick something up, they do have an easier time,
Yeah.
like learning it, picking it up. Some
Yeah.
people have an ear for music, for example, and other people don't. It's
Yeah.
so yeah, talent is a tricky one,
Mm.
but it's safer, I think, to just say that talent is a lie,
Yeah.
rather than use talent in the way that people
No.
do these days. Like I'm also so used to my mother as well, just being like,
Oh, you can do all this. I could never do that. I just don't have the talent for it.
I'm like,
Pick up the
pick
pencil.
up a pencil and draw some lines.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're a big artist.
Yeah. 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 That was 4 days ago, I think. Is that right? Oh, yeah, that's the last
Yeah, that was
time we
what you
did.
said,
Yeah,
yeah.
so.
Yes, that's right.
I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time.
Well, the case has been solved, hasn't it? While I've been here in hospital, I mean.
Ah!
Indeed it has, my dear madam. Spectacularly. By none other than I, Herlock Sholmes.
I forgot he was here.
Thank you.
Mr. Sholmes, as you well know, it was Mr. Naruhodo's hard work in court that solved the case.
Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly.
Well,
I almost missed that in, and I was really concerned.
but yeah, a lot of people think of talent as a magical thing that you can just do.
Exactly, yeah. Talent is just, you have a predisposition to be good at something.
Yeah. And then,
But
yeah,
you still need to work at it.
yeah.
It just makes it easier to start.
It's ironically, it's also the way people think about running merch making businesses. They think there's this one magical like manufacturer or a couple that like if you just go to them, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
And you don't need to
Constantly
constantly
be looking
work.
for new ones, trying new ones.
Yeah. talk to your current ones
To your
and
current ones, yeah.
talk about the rates and like the quality.
Yeah.
And then they get really angry when you tell them that you have to like work for it
Yeah.
and call you a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? No.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the other thing. Like I've said before, one of the reasons that I will actually forever be a manufacturer gatekeeper is because just because I have or we have a good experience with a manufacturer doesn't mean that somebody else will.
No.
And I don't want to be responsible for
No.
somebody assuming that their pin quality is going to be the same as our
Yeah.
pin quality because of the relationship you have
Yeah.
with the manufacturer
Yeah.
and all the work you've put in.
Yeah.
And then kind of almost feel like they're holding us responsible for
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
No, like legitimate. Yeah, no, exactly. Like some of these manufacturers I've been working with for over 5 years. Like if they produce shit quality, I can go to them and I can say, remake this or give me a refund.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll take my business elsewhere.
Yeah.
If you're a new person who just basically spent like a couple of $100 for your trials, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, I'll take my business elsewhere. They're like, okay, and bye.
Exactly. It's just how it works.
Yeah, the good old, oh, you're a digital artist, so you're not drawing at all, just the computer. Yeah. My illustration teacher had that attitude as
seriously?
well. Yeah. Like, I mean, I find it really funny because I was talking to somebody else who graduated from the same degree as me a few years later, and apparently he was so at that point the tutor was so into digital art that he was also doing 3D oh my god, like using 3D art programs, but like VR art programs.
What?
But when I was there, I was the only person who was doing any kind of digital art at all.
Oh my god.
And he was just like, no, real media only, please, thank you.
What? Just what?
Yeah, I mean, he properly kind of went in later and got really into the digital side of stuff. But
is insane.
I mean, it's just how it was back then.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good for me, though, to actually get focused back on doing traditional media.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But
Oof.
you know how it is. Oh, my tea just went all over the place. I was like, I'll better have a little drink just so that, I can do the voices better. No, chokes and dies.
Oh? Me coming round seems to have made everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry. I should never have regained consciousness. It was selfish of me. Oh no! We're all so relieved that you're on the mend, Miss Green. Really, we are.
Yeah, because mine Hotte would have been
Yeah,
upset if she died of that bullshit.
Exactly.
With that kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green. Okay, well, let's ask her about herself. So, you're an artist, are you, Miss Green?
Oh, no. Oh, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best.
Still
She
makes
has
you an
so
artist.
many self-esteem issues. I know,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm actually kind of upset for her.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a student of art. Really, at the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts. Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts. Great Britain is such a wonderful country.
Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts?
Oh, no, actually. I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road.
I see. Oh, very interesting.
Oh, no. Is it?
Brixton is some 10 stops away on the underground from here, and Thorndike Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton town centre.
Does that matter, Mr. Sholmes?
Perhaps not, but Briar Road is a far less salubrious part of town by comparison, dwelt in by those of inferior means, including the maleficent Mr. Moustache.
Inferior means... I suppose Suzaki-san does fit the bill.
We don't have art in Japan. Yeah, right? It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine arts student to be walking in such a district. That's all.
What's this? She suddenly climbed up.
Mr. Shams, you should be ashamed of yourself, prying into a young maiden's private affairs.
Oh, dear me. Do forgive me.
If you don't mind, I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pack up my things.
Oh, yeah, of course. We will keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green. That is the right response.
Aren't I a wacky ducky? Ho ho ho!
Can you please get the fuck out?
Uh-huh. Is there a Mr. Narrow Fodder here? Mr. Narrow Fodder?
Narrow fodder. Sorry. Well, if you're looking for Naruhodo, the lawyer, that's me, but...
Ah, Mr. Narrow Fodder, good! This is for you. It's a message from Mr. Saucy Nutmeg. It's just
Saucy Nutmeg!
Saucy Nutmeg.
Mr. Natsume sent a message to me.
But why would a policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Natsume?
Saucy Nutmeg.
Yeah,
Suzaki
Natsume. Saucy Nutmeg. Oh.
Exactly. What's going on? What's a Scotland Yard constable doing playing delivery boy at this time in the morning?
This would be why he said he also got accused of poisoning somebody. What an unlucky ducky he is. Ah, what are you waiting for? Let me see that!
Oh!
Well, this is most unexpected.
Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes?
There's something wrong, Mr. Sholmes, he says. Have you not seen this note?
No, how could I have? It's in Japanese, right?
It would seem that London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective rest. A new case called. A case of murder, no less. We must depart at once!
Murder?
Call a cab. Time is of the essence.
But the trouble is, we've yet to read Master Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit in his lodgings once we did. What's happened to my frame rate?
That will be entirely convenient. I wondered as well. It's really chuggy all of a sudden.
Okay, I'm just
Convenient? What do you mean?
gonna give this a save because
No, I don't trust it. It's all like go 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 go.
yeah.
Go 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 go.
Yeah.
It's all here in the note, my dear fellows. The murder we must investigate took place at Mr. Moustache's lodgings.
Wait, what?
I'll hail a...
At once.
At once.
It was only yesterday that Suzaki-san was in court and we were dispelling doubts about his innocence.
Okay, it's a small four-wheeled carriage for public hire.
You and Theo found it at the same time?
Oh! Yeah! Fiacre.
Oh.
French, apparently. From the French.
Ah. And now, the very next day, there's a murder at the man's own address, where he did say it was a fucking horrible haunted place
he did.
beforehand.
It's true. Yeah, well, we had that whole thing where he
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, I've had a real trouble renting it out after all the
Oh.
shit that happened.
Oh god, this is when you're gonna have to deal with the garage apps again.
Why do I do this to myself? I wake up every Thursday morning and my voice feels like I've run it through a hedge.
He may very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or so it seemed to us at the time. But we were soon to discover it was worse than we
I
thought.
think the clowns might well finally come in to play, which is, it's neat because we were like, and those guys? What of
Yeah.
them? I really think it's cute the way they were like,
Yeah.
yes, this case that we weren't allowed to divulge. but still.
Mr. Natsume's lodgings, ground floor.
Oh!
Yep! Oh no, did he get murdered?
Okay, well, at least I don't have to work out what the hell I'm gonna voice him.
What on earth?
Oh my! The gentleman is deceased! Without question, he's dead! Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire!
Mr. Natsume!
Oh, why? Why is this happening? Why to me? I've only just got out of court yesterday! I was finally home after 2 days of misery. And then I wake up the next day to this! No early bird should catch a worm like this!
You know what? It's fair that he hates England.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Uh-huh. Woeful worm without wiggle! I see you're in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Moustache. Ah! Not the horrible Harlock Sholmes! Shoo! Shove off! Show yourself the door! I never invited you! Mr. Sholmes came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume.
Susato, no!
Susato?
No!
Bad Susato. I am entirely at your disposal, Mr. Moustache. What can I do for you?
Leave.
Yes.
Window tax, sorry.
Yeah, right?
It's in the background, right here. Oh, Greggy!
Greggy! Here they are already. The busybodies. Oh, Inspector Gregson. What a pleasant surprise. Pleasant, is it? It gives me heartburn every time I see your face at a crime scene, Sholmes.
Good build up fish you're eating.
I think so, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of carbohydrates and saturated fats. Actually. Ha! I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result. Your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food. Is that why he's a Greg? He's Greg's.
Oh no!
This Greg's is on.
Good morning, Inspector.
This is a crime scene. Don't you go touching anything.
Or, good morning to you too, sunshine. Or, it's fucking. I didn't realise he was just wearing those sandals even at the time.
I think we saw them in the very end.
Yeah.
The illustration at the very end, but I don't think otherwise we've seen his feet. Oi! I said hands off! You're gonna mess up my crime scene!
No, I just wanted to look, that's all.
No chance. I know you're kind. You'll mess it up just by looking at it.
Someone's in a bad mood.
There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't there?
Alright, it sounds like I'd better talk to the inspector first and try to curry some favour.
That man has had a lot of coffee today, hasn't he?
So we can't really investigate until we talk to Greggy.
The fork just hanging from his lifeless hand is quite...
Yeah. Or something. Oh, I can't talk to him yet, however. Okay, well, I'm still gonna talk to him. What a terrible thing to have happened.
And it's carbon monoxide poisoning the lot of you drop dead in a few minutes. Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm
Considering
here for it.
how shabby that the pipework is.
Well, I mean, gas lamps were notorious, weren't they?
Yeah,
For
they were, weren't they? Like, yeah.
It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. Endless existence of excruciating experiences.
So, the victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room is just 1 story up, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbours, I suppose.
So did you know the victim? Were you friends?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think this is why he was like, yes, poison. I have had experience with this. And we were like, huh?
What? Yeah.
I don't remember that in the case. Yeah.
What's the matter with Susaki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it?
Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger. But did he ever invite me to his room? Never! On my honor, I swear it! Maybe he could voice any his extra performance like that and down-pitched voice and the rest normally so don't have to strain too much. It's like, this guy's okay to do. He's just difficult to keep up. Unless it's really irritating to listen to, in which case I can do him normally. What's an extreme reaction? You're probably wishing you'd never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? It's a little hard to listen to. Okay, I'll try and do a slightly less extra. Okay. When we found him here, I felt wretched, which is why I sent word asking you to come. Better? Through that inspector over there!
Okay, well. Oh, we can't investigate the body. Well.
That's the hand on by the cut off. Okay.
Right.
That's fine.
So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he?
Mr. William Shamspeare. He was a lodger here. As you can probably tell, he was an actor. A bit of a dead loss as it happens, or just dead. Mr. Shamspeare. There was a landlord, old Mr. Garideb, and the other lodger, Mr. Natsume, who found him. Shamspeare, of course, right? The fella didn't rise at his usual hour, so Garideb got worried and kicked the door down.
Well, it was a bit extreme to instantly do it.
Yeah,
It didn't happen.
Yeah, right, quite.
But doesn't Mr. Garadab have a bad leg?
Ballywell, wake up, man! I know, right? Oh, Shamspeare says Shamspeare's the final story, is it, Ganadis? Oh, yeah, you're right there. It was that jittery Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking.
Wow,
I'm impressed.
really? Suzaki-san?
I guess Sato-san's been teaching him a thing or two.
Hmm.
The victim was pretty hard up, it seems. Even done some time inside for petty crimes. He had no money, no place to go, and no friends. His only acquaintances were the people in this house. Miserable life and a miserable end to it.
So, what exactly is Mr. Natsume still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene? Sorry.
Well, I'm not saying it's because the fella looks odd or anything, or that he acts suspicious, but I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the culprit. Cohabiter.
You nearly said culprit there, didn't you?
Oh dear. Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion. Again.
It certainly seems that way. Oh, he
Your
does
turn
just
now?
come across as such an odd fellow, doesn't he?
Do you have water?
I have water.
Poor man. How unfortunate. Anyway, I can't say much until the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fella's been gone that long. Body's still warm.
Oh man. Hey, we got here real fast then. Like,
I guess Mr. Natsume telegrammed us like wicked quick. And he didn't telegram us either. He sent like a cop over. So
yeah, like, man.
Fun Seek's around the corner for you too. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body.
And Sholmes is
Yeah, where is
doing. Would you just say where is he?
Yeah.
Did you just ask where he was?
Oh.
Can you not see the Master of Disguise?
Oh god. I was actually, I had infected. ignored him. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing?
Ha! You need only to observe to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating, naturally.
There's nothing natural about that pose.
Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery? Patience, my dear madam, patience. We've not been here in this room 5 minutes. So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened. It's possible that A, he's been dead so long that brain damage would be a thing even if he was to be revived, potentially.
Yeah.
And B, this is the... quite some time ago.
Yeah.
Where I think the best they could probably have done is give him a cuff on the cheek and said,
Yeah.
"Wake up, man!" My goodness. But isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes? Now that you propose the idea, I believe one could indeed see it that way. I believe fingerprinting had only just become a thing around this time.
Yeah.
But you're right, I do think it would have been at least prudent to maybe send for maybe one medical personnel, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the present time, I've managed to draw 2 incontrovertible conclusions. The first, that there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life.
Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is it something that Mr. Sholmes said significant? Is something that Mr. Sholmes said significant somehow?
No, don't mind me. Forget I was here. And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. Nonsense!
All right, Mr. Natsume. Why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' deductions?
Oh, please, pretend I'm not here. Invisible, ineffable, inscrutable, insignificant.
Impossible to ignore.
You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail.
But of course, let the theatrical tragedy before us be unravelled by my great deductions, presented for your pleasure in 2 acts. I'm excited we're going to get to do some deduction in innings!
Yeah, we've heard some truly astounding great deduction from Mr. Sholmes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time?
So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise for Herlock Sholmes's Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1.
Great deduction!
The game's afoot.
Cause of death.
Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night. Foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison.
It's not like cheese.
Does it like
What the hell is that?
some kind of block of something?
Butter?
Butter? Butter. Next to the victim, we'll notice a large dining plate which contains, you will observe, 1/2 of a sizable bar of soap. Meaningful? Indubitably. Oh, he was trying to poison a mouse, maybe. Although, would he poison a mouse when he had a cat? Because that seems like a really shitty thing to do. But the foaming at the mouth is very clearly linked to the soap. Yeah, we did take the cat, that is true.
It is true.
It's a good point.
But why was this man eating soap? Because I swear, those are bite marks.
Why is this soap set so purposefully upon the dish? Like the victim's last supper, in fact. Yes. I think it's cheese. I mean, it's possible, yeah. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course! The fork reveals the answer! Or alternatively, good point.
Yeah.
It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. Taking up arms in the form of his cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life. Yet the struggle against his hunger was in vain, for in the end he couldn't resist devouring the slippery feast. But London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. It's novel. The soap and the lather about the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. It could have been poisoned cheese that he then stole, maybe? But if he had a fork in his hand, why would he be taking straight up bites out of the block of whatever that is?
Yeah, they were definitely like supposed to be like fork marks, I think. They're like they look like bite marks, but when we zoomed in it kinda looked like more like say with the cake. Like...
The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive ingestion of foul soap.
I do, however, not agree with this deduction.
No, but... No, personally, I have a greater interest in the taste of foul candle wax, of course. Conclusion. Poisoning from soap ingestion. You wouldn't eat cheese or soap with a fork. It's true.
No.
The candles are where Iris hides all the caffeine. The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question.
I've known so many people eat wax.
Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? This single teacup suggests the answer. To draw a conclusion on such meagre evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. The careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Murder. Suzeki? No, not again. Stop. No murder. Stop. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock.
Well, that happened when they kicked him in.
Though forced open now, at the time of the incident, this door was locked. And the sole key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. Alone with his inferior soap, from whence wafted an inferior scent. He's really on that soap, isn't he? And with that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the hereafter.
No possible perpetrator present.
It's the wild line again. It is. Yep.
It is.
And thus concludes the final act of Sherlock Holmes's great deduction.
There's just one thing, Mr. Sholmes.
You are disposed to identifying just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Pray, what concerns you?
Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man could have eaten soap?
It is quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. It is a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing. How extraordinary. In truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past.
You've eaten it, you mean?
My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut.
And did it?
New detox.
As I writhed in agony on the floor and spilt the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did.
Yep. Sham's detox.
Sham's detox program. The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it.
Believe me, I wouldn't eat it even if you did.
There's something that troubles me as well, actually.
Oh, what's that?
It's Mr. Natsume.
Yeah, he's kind of sus.
Yeah, extremely.
I couldn't help noticing him shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Shames's deductions touched a nerve somehow.
Nonsense!
Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last.
I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the great detective's deductions may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth.
Yes, Mr. Shames's observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the other side. I'm sorry. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it in at an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright then, let's see what we can do.
Yes, we must pick out the key words in Mr. Shames's quite brilliant deductions and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Shames meant to say in the first place.
In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise.
The Cannondale's Sholmes is just built.
The Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular! Act 1. Good thing keywords are always highlighted? Yeah.
Course
Yeah.
correction.
Hold it, Mr. Sholmes.
Alright.
Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night.
Oh, do we have any chord packets on the sheet? Oh,
Interesting.
we still have the
Yeah,
customers,
we still have the receipt. And we still have the street map. Good to know.
It's interesting, though. It's still not present. I mean, anyway.
Yeah. Drum at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Not to be confused with poisson.
Next to the victim, we know some representing play, representation will observe. I'll just do that for a second if you want.
One half of the size of a bar of soap. Meaningful? Indubitably.
No, I won't. Die.
Okay, please don't. Why is this soap set so purposefully upon the dish, like the victim's last supper, in fact? Yes. Could it be the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer.
Well, you can't deny that a fork implies the man was eating something, or about to eat something.
Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks.
And of course, only half of the bar of soap is left on the plate.
But might there not be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate some soap?
What? Oh wait, what's that? There's the other bar of soap.
Oh, other piece of soap.
Look, there's more soap on the floor here. Mr. Shamspeare must really have loved the stuff.
Let's not jump to conclusions, Mr. Naruhodo. Look closely at this soap. Do you see that it would fit together perfectly with the half bar on the table?
Okay. Did Suzaki put this fucking soap here?
I wonder.
What the? How can that be?
I think that they are two halves of the same bar that broke apart.
Okay, there's nothing in the cup. But we'll look at it at least. Do you think he was drinking tea with his soap?
And the cup's empty, so there's no way of knowing.
Ah, how about this for an idea? Perhaps the cup was full of water, and he was dissolving soap in it so he could gulp as much down as possible.
Please remember that he may not actually have been the soap lover that he's been made out to be. What's that stain on the table?
Yeah,
Is
that's the thing I
we
need to...
don't
I
even-
can't seem to
okay.
investigate. I was also curious about that stain.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
What about his hat?
yeah, I was
Nope,
trying to
nothing on that
investigate the
either.
hat. Wait, he still has a cup in his hand.
Oh, he does, doesn't he?
That's...
Mm.
Okay, I can't seem to get there,
Can't
but
go
it's
round the
interesting
other
to
way?
know
Okay,
that
yeah,
he's...
very.
Okay, well, I'll check the fork for a
Yeah.
second. I suppose you'd eat soap with a fork, would you?
I don't think it's a question of which implement you'd use. You shouldn't eat soap, full stop.
But then why? Why does the man have a fork in his hand?
Oh dear, I understand your frustration, Mr. Naruhodo, but please don't take it out on me. The point is, if we decide the man used his fork to eat the soap, we wouldn't be changing Mr. Sholmes' deduction. So we really ought to consider some other clues. What's that under the...
Yeah.
It's
not-
like something, unless it's like the feather on his
I
hat
think
or
it might be
something.
the feather. Yeah, it's the feather. I think this bit,
Really?
right? Like,
Yeah, what is
no,
that?
I can't. There's no clue.
You can't tilt underneath
No,
the table or
I
anything.
can't. I
Oh,
can
how
just go this way.
irritating.
Right.
Who has?
Yeah, no, that's the other piece of soap.
That floorboard lifts up quite a lot.
Yeah, I
there
know,
as
right?
well,
But
doesn't it?
that's the fork.
That looks like a mousetrap, maybe.
Oh, wait, the teacup. Wait, did I not? already?
We did the teacup.
Yeah.
It's
like-
the water. For some reason, it's not showing the check mark. Yeah, it does look. Yeah, mousetrap,
This way,
right?
like-
Oh, are you now doing it today? Are you doing the mind transference thing? But it's so annoying. We're not able to click on it.
Is this really annoying?
Well,
Of course, the fork reveals the answer. Oh, I just have to click.
I guess maybe the fork instead. No, you're
So
supposed
with
to
the
eat
fork,
fork.
would you?
Fork. You shouldn't eat so much. Why would you have a fork? Okay.
Yeah, so do something like that to me. The point is, oh wait, I can present things.
Oh, yeah.
I
So
can
the
present
other
the
block.
cup for some reason.
Well, try. What about the other block on the ground?
Yeah,
Can you
I
present
should
that?
be presenting that. I think, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
that'll
we
be
go.
it.
I don't remember. Yeah, the other piece of soap. Yeah, exactly. He was actually eating it.
Rigor mortis, I guess, maybe. That he's still gripping it like that.
Yeah. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the other piece of soap reveals the answer.
Fork to trigger the trap, then attempt to eat the cheese, which is actually poisoned, and then he died. That's a good point. Potentially, could well be.
Yeah.
It being the other half of the soap on the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all. Maybe he put the other piece of soap in the mousetrap to make it look like cheese.
Oh my god, yes.
Sometimes mice also do eat soap because of what it's made of. The fats.
Oh.
But it's obvious, really, for no depths of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite.
But that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table.
An excellent observation, Mr. Naruhodo, and one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. For London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of that plate. No.
Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument then.
Perhaps he's suggesting the man licked the soap rather than ate it.
If soap in London is that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. But there are no signs of any food in this room at all.
Of course,
Yeah.
food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, is it?
Yeah, cup. Can we still get the same talk here? I need to check, sorry. Yes, a Western vessel for the serving of infusions of dried tea leaves.
It's a teacup, Mr. Naruhodo, as you well know. Stop putting on airs. And it's empty.
Ah, so we've already established that the victim wasn't eating soap when he died. However, there's significant evidence to suggest that he was drinking tea.
I thought exactly.
But there's also nothing
There's
in there.
also nothing in there, but what about his cup, I wonder? Can we still not reach it?
No, I cannot.
Pity's sake.
I have even less like of a freedom
Even
like
less,
here.
huh?
So I basically want us to present
Yeah,
the cup.
seems so.
Take that!
Tika. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup.
Indeed, cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. And it would appear that this victim drank every last drop. That's a good point, actually. You realised that there was poison and tried to use the soap.
Oh, there's no
Throw up.
sign of food anywhere in the room, sorry.
Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup.
Poison in the tea.
So weird.
Suicide or murder.
Cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. Well, it's not a single teacup, there's one in his hand.
Ah, the Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deduction so far.
Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shakespeare was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that. But what troubles me?
Is Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Sham suggested? There's more to this deduction than it seems.
We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for some more clues.
There we fucking go!
blinking
'Cause
teacup,
finally
thank
I'm
you
allowed
very
to go
much.
here. Finally.
Oof.
I still can't see his hat properly, but
Yeah,
you know. It's another Western vessel!
It's a teacup! And it too is empty.
Given that he's actually holding this one in his hand,
We
I
can
guess
assume that this is the cup from which Mr. Shakespeare was actually drinking.
Western vessel for holding infused
Teacups!
But if that's the case, this changes everything. Everything we've deduced up to now is turned on its head. I have a bad feeling about this. I almost don't want to say it.
Yes, I know exactly how you feel. Poor Sasaki-san.
It's empty and it's the only cup on the table.
It would appear so, yes. And when you consider those facts, Mr. Sholmes' reasoning seems highly logical.
But it's always the same in these deductions. The real truth is always buried a little deeper than the great detective suggests.
Mr. Naruhodo, you seem very dubious at Mr. Sholmes all of a sudden. There's definitely a mousetrap, though. Under the hat, for sure.
Oh, come on, I mean, just... Can I... Why can I not? No, I think
Or
it's...
is it?
I think it's literally a stupid feather on his hat even. What's that? It's just a shadow?
No response, it's just a corpse.
Am I supposed to go back to the fork?
It could easily be a feather. Like, does it have a little bow end? Okay.
Yeah,
I
I'll
can't
go
remember
back to
what he
present.
looked like. Well, me.
I just wanted to see what the fork had
Yeah,
to
yeah,
say.
it's fine. The fork again?
The victim just seemed to be holding it so pointedly. It makes it impossible to let go of the idea that it must be involved somehow.
Well, let's hope it turns out to be a useful clue in the end.
Okay, so I'm gonna present
Like a
this cup.
fancy price tag thingy kind of deal. Okay, I'll take it. I suppose I can look it up.
Did the man dine and die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there were 2 teacups in the room all along. Ah. In other words, this is a strong indication that at the victim's last supper, there was a guest present.
At the very least, we can say now with certainty.
Moment away.
Yeah, it's okay. That somebody else was here in this room last night taking tea with the victim. Oh yeah, he does. It's like a little star with like a ribbon on the bottom.
Yeah. I kind of like his design.
Yeah. But looking him up did actually make me quite confused. What are you talking about? Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly, unreasonable. To draw a conclusion on such meagre evidence would be foolish, however, certainly.
In which case, what more can we deduce about this possible guest at the table?
Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow.
Do you mean to say you know who exactly was in this room at the time of the victim's death?
Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the broken log.
I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now.
I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the halcyon days of eating too much soap.
But the identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about.
Well, you can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruhodo.
No, I suppose not. Time to look around again. Let go with that tiny bit of... What's that?
Apparently we can't even investigate the spectacles. Oh wait! Those 3 books on the receipt, I betcha.
At first glance, it seems that the only thing in this room are the makeshift stage and the costumes. I overlooked these 3 books initially.
I wonder what they are. Let's see. The titles read The Picture of Monsieur Lecoq,
Yep.
Canterbury Yearnings, and A Meal for Gaboriau.
Yeah, that's them. Wait, I'm sure I've heard those titles before.
It could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day.
What? Yes, on the day of the unfortunate incident with when Miss Green was stabbed. Sasaki-san had just been to a bookshop and bought them. That's right.
And now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim.
Yet Mr. Natsume claims never to have been here before. What does this mean? Do you think?
I really don't know what to make of it.
A pile of familiar books. Empty bottle. Wow.
It's empty.
Empty of liquid, but full of air. That makes you think, doesn't it?
That's a very Socketwrench thing to say.
Oh, wow.
It makes me think that you're full of hot air. We should be thinking about who else was in the room at the time.
Porter. Susato-san's quick response was cleverer than my original riddle. Let's all at least have a look at this.
Oh dear, the latch is most definitely broken, isn't it? The door was kicked in by Mr. Natsume, according to what Mr. Garadeb told the inspector.
Who knew his short, thin, little legs had such strength in them?
I'm not sure the length of his legs is in any way significant here.
Perhaps this says more about the poor state of the door than about Mr. Natsume's strength, actually.
Careful, if he overheard that remark, he'd almost certainly have a lively response.
I don't know. Can this broken lock really tell us anything about who was here? No, not really. Well, what can is this.
Take that!
Pile of familiar books. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books.
Not quite so. It's no mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in this room. It's the link to the truth.
Mr. Natsume, you've purchased these books 4 days ago at a second-hand bookshop.
That's just a coincidence. In that case, you will be able to bring the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment. No, never. Non-negotiable.
If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. Having purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you could conceivably have brought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned that.
In other words, you could only have brought these 3 books here to the victim's room. Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. In short, there is only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in his room last night as a result of poisoning.
And that same night, the victim had a visitor.
And that visitor...
That's beautiful.
was you, Mr.
Mr.
Sasaki Natsume. I thought we'd do a little thing, but I fucked it up.
It's okay.
Mr. Sausages.
Nutmeg.
Yeah, last night and the body's still warm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' great deduction. And we know the house is pretty cold,
Yeah.
too. So, solved. Deduction complete. Elementary. Oh. Not again, not again, not again. Not again. Well then, Mr. Natsume. It would appear you're gonna have to accompany me down to the yard. Again. But wait! Hold your horses! Yes. Door, key, locked. Entry, exit, entirely impossible.
He's so flustered, he's being even stranger than normal.
What? You think that's an alibi? You could have just made a copy. What? You live in the same building after all. You'd have had plenty of opportunity, I'm sure. But misery me! Sorry, sir. You'll get your chance to give your side of the story later. The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Moustache. Ah, you horrible Herlock Sholmes!
He really has found himself an arch rival now, has he? Sorry, hasn't he? Is it arch or arc?
Arch rival.
That's what I thought. So why the fuck do people use arc mage?
Because people are awful. And they hate me specifically. Just like Arch-Chancellor.
Yeah.
But also Archangel.
English is so fucking stupid.
Sometimes I think leftover pronunciations are kind of holdovers from the way words were.
Yeah.
But also I think people just decided that Archangel sounds stupid. But
Yeah.
Arch-Chancellor sounds fine. And Arch-Chancellor sounds dumb.
Yeah.
And so does Archmage. Come on now, no dilly-dallying. Outside, there's a carriage waiting. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but you have to help me. Please, please, I'm innocent.
Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it.
You think Archmage sounds fine?
Uh-oh.
You're fine.
As long as you...
That's fine.
Hearthstone versus Hearthstone.
Hearthstone. Yeah. When these people actively said hearth, as in for hearth and home, and then Hearthstone,
Mm-hmm.
I
think Blizzard themselves actually shot them in the fucking foot by saying Hearthstone when they released the card game.
did they call it Hearthstone?
Pretty sure,
No,
yeah.
I don't think they did.
I think they
Did
did.
they? Oh, okay.
I was like, you already dead to me, but now you're
Yeah.
altered it. I could be wrong though, correct me if I'm
I
wrong.
don't remember.
Oh, yes?
But Archmage is only if it's like some kind of lightning based.
Yeah.
A
Yeah, that would be so
situation.
cool. Like, Archmage is like, yes,
Hmm.
Thunder Mage.
My poor little kitty cat. Please give him his breakfast for me.
Okay,
See,
that's
I did
cute,
wonder
though.
how he ended up with the cat.
Yeah. Same.
See,
It's
he
like-
still has the cat there. It's pronounced Hearth multiple times in WoW. Is it also now? Because
Yeah.
it wasn't at that point.
No, it used to be Hearthstone, and now it's Hearthstone.
Okay, that's cool because it's hearth, as in it takes you to your hearth, as in, you know,
Your
your hearth, where you live, the fireplace, your hearth, as in for hearth and home, as in. Even in old stuff he pops up, you know, voice ends in the same aspect, saying both. Really? I know that, I mean, the one thing with Archmage was when... Oh, who was it? Who said Archmage?
that would be
It was somewhere
what's his
in,
face? Fuckface in
in the swamp quest line at some point, wasn't it?
Isn't that
In...
like what's his face? Oh my god.
Oh, what's his name?
Oh my god, it's him so how do I forget him?
Thingamajiggle.
Okay, it's Dalaran.
The Dalaran guy, but it wasn't in the Dalaran quest
No.
line. I mean, it was in a Dalaran, but it was in the swamp, in the...
Sorry, it's been a while for us.
Oh my god, it's been so long now.
How did I forget his name though?
It's on the tip of my tongue.
That's elf wife and twins.
Yeah, that guy. I read a
Like,
sobbing
I know.
book about that man.
There's literally a herb, like it's named after him, isn't there?
Beard.
Yeah, beard.
Thingamy beard. Thingamy's beard. Oh my god.
We're having like shared memory, Billy.
Oh.
Khadgar.
Khadgar's beard. That's the one. Yeah, the herb. Khadgar is all like Archmage. And I was like, no. No. Spanky bottom. Bad. Bad mage.
His evil curse is still apparently unbroken.
I'm fine.
Sazaki-san found himself once again the prime suspect in a case of murder. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective.
My dear fellow, that honour belongs to you. It bothers me that I don't remember that much in WoW, vintage WoW, it being pronounced Hearth. Because it really bothers me.
You didn't play with the sound a lot
I
of the time.
played with the sound off a lot of the time. You're right. I did. I mean, I have intense nostalgia memories for the music for the various areas.
Yeah.
Because when I was playing in the middle of the night, I would have the music on.
Ah.
But I'd usually have the voices as far down as possible.
Mm.
And just have the music on the whole. Although, you know, the actual own character lines, it's been such a long time. It pisses me off when people say it. Fine.
Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson is no longer here. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now. Is he just leaving us alone with the corpse? It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Cora's not here, so I guess it's all good. Coroner can just, we'll let him in when he gets here, I guess. Yes, that's right. And of course,
What?
Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Garadeb, who discovered Mr. Shamspear.
Sounds suspicious to me.
Clearly we didn't find him guilty because he's out. Free.
I mean, yeah, but his
the
wife
jury.
did it after all. Like,
his wife did the other thing.
yeah. Ah, Mr. John Garadeb. Yes.
I expect we could find him in his sitting room. On the top floor. As usual.
Right. We must remember to go and talk to him later then. I wanna examine his Burger King costume.
Yeah.
Look at these extravagant, bright costumes. Somehow they look out of place in this room with its grim, shady going-ons.
Goings on.
Thank you. Going-ons.
Moustaches.
Yeah.
This one looks like a king's attire.
A king? I've always dreamt of being a king.
Oh, I think he'd be more suited to a feudal lord. A daimyo, or such like.
With a John Mage top knot. Every Japanese man wishes he had a John Mage.
That's like our archmage, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you'd look wonderful with one. And you already have the sword.
Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets of London with a John Mage and a sword?
The Tamagotchi isn't yelling for attention, the
No.
Tamagotchi's being fed. I think it's safe to say that there will be Tamagotchi noises on most of these streams for the rest of time now. Because
I
they
sometimes
go
turn
to
them off.
sleep at 10 p.m. and we usually feed them around about then.
Yeah.
And it's easier and safer to have the sound on because otherwise we forget they exist.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sorry about that.
mine's just going to have a little bedtime snack.
And yeah.
You just wonder, yeah, no, we were hearing it too. Don't worry, you're not going crazy.
No,
This-
that was sorry about that.
What did you do?
Feed it the food it doesn't like.
Oopsie.
Anyway,
Yeehaw.
window tax.
Window tax.
As we've seen from the outside, the window is completely bricked up. A vestige of the former window tax
that
Britons had to pay.
What strange things they used to tax in Great Britain. I mean, making people pay for the number of windows that they had in their property. It's extraordinary!
Yup.
It's heartbreaking to think of the poor having to block up their windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh,
What is it, Mrs. Arto?
if you look closely, a number of the bricks are loose.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh, it's where he kept his illegal soap.
Why the fuck?
What?
Did he have hollow bricks? Oh yes, it looks as though an amateur had broken out a few of them here. Was it Mr. Shamspear who did it, I wonder? Being the lodger renting this room?
Oh, look at this, Mr. Naruhodo.
On the outside, there's a little ledge, and there's something on it.
What? Outside? No, we go back!
Yeah.
No.
We go
No, we
back
go
and
back
we
to
look-
this,
What?
It's so cold outside. You can feel it through this gap.
It did snow it did snow all last night. It would be cold. But more importantly, what is it on the ledge out there? Why are there snow-covered lumps?
I like that
They're
they
not
were so
snow-covered.
lazy with the graphics that they were just like, look, it's soap.
It's more bars of soap.
Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on the ledge outside the window? This is gonna be cheese.
I have no idea. But the pair of them look rather charming like that.
Still, that's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lined up outside the window. I think perhaps you should take one. There are two after all.
Oh dear. I suppose we could. Oh, what's this? Look here at this soap.
Ah,
Do you see? In the middle there. There's a patch that's a different colour. It's sort of transparent, but
some sort of fancy design, I suppose. Only in Great Britain.
It looks like the Hinamaru flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful! It's probably a very expensive brand.
I don't believe this is soap. Nah, it could be soap, 100%. But it is
Yeah, soaps should know if it was anything other than soap, I think.
expensive. Then what's it doing in this ramshackle old room?
It's actually caffeine.
The bar of soap has been entered in the court record. Bar of soap. A cheap bar of soap that was discovered just outside Mr. Shamspeare's window. It's one of 2 that were found there. And we've now tampered with the crime scene, which is why we're no longer allowed in court.
You didn't want to say it? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've got to say the things that nobody else wants to say. That's kind of my job. A little bit. So we've got the gas meter there, I assume.
Yeah, which we're all right. Well, let's check if we can... yes.
Yeah.
This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think, isn't it?
Where does the audience sit, though? For the nightly Shakespeare performances.
Actors aspiring to the great stage must practice their art, Mr. Naruhodo, with or without an audience. In fact, on a related note, perhaps you should set up a mock bench for the defense in your office.
What?
Then you could practice your art every single day.
I'll think about it. If you promise to don a beard and play the role of the judge.
Well, if that would help you achieve your goal.
This I have to see. Well, too bad you missed out on very dashing performance later on.
I'm assuming...
What the fuck is that?
I was going to say, it looks the same colour as the soap, but it's not. It's a bit of...
What's this?
It looks like part of an envelope, I think.
Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was opened.
Okay, well, this man is a criminal if he opens his mail like this.
Yeah.
I don't care what else this man is guilty of. Is that significant?
Well, it's a little out of place, perhaps. When you look around the room, there's no sign of a letter. Or the rest of the envelope, in fact. Is there?
Did he eat it? Yeah, that's what he was eating.
Yeah.
With the fork.
She's right.
And yet, here we have the torn off end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual.
Well, clearly you've never met anybody with autism or ADHD.
Yeah.
These things
Yeah,
can
I have
a life
had
of their own.
I've had envelopes do that, even with a letter opener. And it just pops off the end, and my mother's like, "Oh, you should have used the letter opener." I'm like, "I did."
Yeah, you've done that to me too. It's like, did she use the letter opener? It's like, yes.
Well, then we're both rubbish, aren't we?
I, in all fairness, tend to just rip envelopes.
You do not actually ever use the letter opener. I don't
not
understand you.
anymore.
You use your teeth.
They work.
You maul them. You do it with your nails.
Yeah. See? Nails, teeth, it works. Possums.
I rip possums. Yeah. That's definitely how you get little corners like this. I use my nails to open tape on boxes, and it gives
telling you
everybody the
not to.
heebie-jeebies.
And you're like, oh no, I got paper cut. I'm like, I told you not to bloody use your nails open the cardboard box.
You think you're so smart.
I agree. We better take this just in case. We are just pocketing
Yeah,
everything.
pocketing little bits of
later on
evidence,
we're gonna
yeah.
go like, no, this wasn't a crime scene on us.
Yeah. You recorded the crime scene. Gregson was there. He should have taken photographs or something.
Torn off.
We learned from Van Zeeks. It's true.
It's true. Torn off end of an envelope. A ripped piece of an envelope that was found in Mr. Shamspeare's room. The rest of the envelope could not be located.
And yet it's still on the floor, even though we've mashed it into the court record.
Oh, the poor man. So young to die.
Perhaps this implies we took note of it, but didn't pocket it yet.
Do you suppose it was a very painful death, being poisoned as he was?
I don't know. All we can do now is hope that he'll be reborn to a better life.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I wonder... Do you think that putting our hands together in a Japanese prayer will help a British soul?
Sorry?
I made sure I had a reference at the ready for just such an occasion as this, actually. This This book is entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Departed, the British Way. I'll just reread it now. One moment.
There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there? Okay, so we found some fun bars of soap.
Oh, that's not... Or is... I don't think the check mark is... Yeah.
There's not much on these shelves, is there? Just this wine glass and bottle.
Hats.
And both of them are cracked.
Yeah, not much use, are they? What's the matter?
Oh, I was just reminded of the Reaper, that's all.
Yeah, cracked wine glasses make me think of Van Zeeks too.
Lord Van Zeeks?
Yes, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it's a waste and that he should donate some to the needy.
So fucking funny. Oh my god. You can suggest it next time we meet.
Ooh. I imagine that would go down very well, don't you? Okay, is that everything else? Do we focus on the... Actually, that board over that hole in the wall. Does that trigger on that one? No, just flavor text, as it were.
Yeah,
What about the gas lamp?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh wait, it does.
Liar!
Oh,
Liar!
I checked it. Oh my god, thank you for noticing.
It makes you happy to see every time? Me too. Thanks again.
This is a gas wall light, isn't it? It must be connected to a gas pipe in the wall.
Gas lights, a gas stove. London really is a city of gas.
Gas leak. But now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Garridab had an open fire on the top floor, didn't they?
Oh yes, you're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove up there.
Pipe isn't in the wall. No, you're right. It's all on top. Literally, it's on the wall. Yeah.
Well, I much prefer a real fire anyway. It's so much cozier.
Somebody didn't tell the text writer what the artist had done and vice versa.
A new location has been added. Oh, good.
Also, don't forget to check the gas meter.
Yeah, actually, let me double check. Because I thought I checked about that. I didn't. No.
It's been.
Yeah, it's been
I
updated.
thought we were waiting for later.
Yeah.
The gas meter was already triggering.
Yeah, and here we have another disproportionately large machine. This looks like a meter of some kind.
Ah, this is a gas meter, I think. It seems that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it, with coins.
Ah, I see. Yeah, now that you've pointed it out, I can see that there's a slot. I can see that there's a slot just there that looks like it would take coins. So, you mean if you put a coin in here?
That's right. That would buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating.
So, if you were a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in the freezing cold.
Yes, or if you were a scatterbrain with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank.
Oh goodness, there's no meter in our office. Okay, this is the other thing, like, what always really got me. Okay, prepaid meters are not a thing where I'm from. It doesn't, to my knowledge, exist anywhere. So when I moved to the UK, and also I heard about prepaid meters, I was like, what do you mean you have to top things up?
Yeah.
Like, it absolutely was baffling to me.
Yeah. Well, the fact that they're also usually on shitey rates as well.
Ah.
Meaning, yeah, if you can't afford to be on, if you can't afford to pay like a quarterly bill, you absolutely can't afford to pay a top-up meter.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that.
Like, how dare they be
how
more
dare
expensive?
they be more expensive? Like, yeah.
It should be the other way around.
It
because
absolutely
you're guaranteed
should.
to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there is no way that they don't get the money.
No, exactly. Exactly that. Yeah.
Because, like, okay, so our energy providers now saying that if you go prepaid, it gets cheaper. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I've seen your shitty rates. They go like, could change your rates, of course. They're really trying to get people to go prepaid.
Yeah, they are.
I'm like, no. Just like they changed their quarterly bills to monthly now.
Yeah.
Assholes. Anyway, so So yeah, British energy companies, even back in the day, they did some very mysterious things. The fact that it was established all the way back here.
Your mum had both gas and electric. The meter literally just auto shuts off at no pounds unless you hit emergency beforehand. Yeah.
Oh,
Can confirm.
my God.
Can confirm.
That is horrible. Oh yeah, you did that too.
Yeah, only because he was supposed to buy electricity money, and he didn't. He didn't charge the freaking tag. And I got up early and took a shower before him. Because I knew that there was going to be like the last tiny little bit of money. Because I was always the one going out and charging the meter, paying on the doohickey, on the taggy thing. And I was like, could you please do it, please, and thanks. And he was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then he didn't do it. So he had a cold shower, and then he did it.
Sorry. It just absolutely horrifies me. Like, how dangerous that also must be now we're getting such cold winters.
Yeah.
Like, if you forget and you can't easily top it up,
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
You have to take it to the local shop. Like ours was, we had to take it to the local spa, which was thankfully like only a couple of doors down in that place. So it wasn't that far to go. But yeah, if you haven't topped it up, yeah, like you said, you literally can't overuse it.
No.
So yeah, the fact that it's more expensive is disgusting.
No.
And I wish there was an afterlife so that the people who make these decisions could suffer, but
I can but hope that.
yeah.
Because fucking hell.
Yeah. But of course, these people, the kind of people who make these decisions, assume that if you're too poor to pay for your meter, it's a personal failing.
Yes.
Rather than just, circumstances and the fact that not everybody can be bloody rich.
25th of February, Briar Road. I wanted to go outside rather than like
We are
expose
outside.
you to Gary Dabbs. Oh look!
Thank you.
Is that the soaps here?
It looks like it, maybe, yeah.
With the exception of the top floor, where Mr. and Mrs. Gary Dabb live, all the windows are bricked up.
Yes, that's because of an old window tax that was charged on the number of windows a property had.
We've been through this.
In order to pay less tax, the poorer members of society filled in many of their windows.
But the tax has since been abolished, hasn't it? So the windows could all be opened up again, surely.
Unfortunately, it would appear that the residents of this district can't afford to pay to have the work done.
I mean, windows are
Expensive,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the sad state of affairs.
Especially for people like poor Mr. Natsumi, who have to live all cooped up in a windowless room.
I suppose that's the price you pay for living in very cheap accommodation.
It all seems rather pointless when you put it like that.
Ah yes, a weird full-day bike.
There always seems to be a bicycle outside the Garrideb residence. I read that bicycles are extremely popular all over Great Britain at the moment. In fact...
Oh, sorry.
This is you.
In fact...
Oh, in fact, yeah, sorry. That one seems very warped, though, especially the front wheel. Is that to make it more of a challenge to ride, do you think?
No, I'm afraid that may be a result of the rider's incompetence. For the front wheel to be so badly warped, I'm afraid the rider may have been similarly afflicted.
Then there's a good chance Mr. Natsumi has been practicing on his bicycle, I think.
Oh dear, I fear you may be right.
Wow.
But yeah, that does look like the soap, doesn't it?
I haven't checked the
we
soap,
have
but we just know it's there now. London's blanketed in fog again today, and the sky is covered in cloud. But if you look carefully in the distance, you can just make out the Crystal Tower being built.
Ah, the Crystal Tower, yes. The centrepiece of the Great Exhibition that's to open in 6 months' time.
Everyone's talking about the Great Expedition of London at the moment, it seems.
Well, it's to be the largest event of its kind anywhere in the world, with technology and scientists from all over. I can't wait for it myself.
Do you think visiting students from the Far East like us will be granted entry? I'm sad shitting myself on it.
Yeah, same.
The last Great Exhibition that was held in London had more than 6 million visitors, it seems. And this time, the British are determined to make it an even bigger success to outdo the Paris exposition.
I see. That's an incredible number of people. And with so many people expected to attend, we should easily be able to slip in unnoticed.
There's always the honest approach of buying tickets at the main entrance, Mr. Naruhodo.
On our way to do things. Oh no, because the little snowman is still here.
Snowman's still here. I mean, it's only been...
No. I know. Why has somebody built this snowman on some sort of pedestal, do you think?
That's not a pedestal, Mr. Naruhodo. That's part of the snowman's body.
Really? But it already has a perfectly good body.
Well, it's true that British snowmen are usually made with 2 balls of snow. Perhaps this is a foreigner.
And now we're looking at him as if he's strange. Poor man. I know how he feels.
If anything, it's Japanese and British 2-ball snowmen that snowmen that are the strange ones, isn't it? After all, real people do have 3 sections: head, torso, and legs.
I love how we're just discussing
Snowman anatomy.
Yeah. Do you ever think that perhaps you think about things too much? There's nothing here.
I don't think it's that weird. The 3 snowball
No,
snowman.
I don't think it's weird at all.
But okay.
I don't think there's anything to look at here, really. There's just some flavor text.
Other than means the door, I assume. We haven't got a check mark on
Oh
the
yeah,
door.
thank you. The Garrideb household and Mr. Natsume's lodgings are a prominent position there on the corner. Sometimes when I look at the building, I can't help feeling that it's just a bit of a slant.
It does rather look as though it would collapse in even the smallest earthquake, doesn't it?
And isn't it supposed to be haunted as well? I think I might have a hunch as to why Soseki-san has such a hunched back. Like, this is horrifying to look at. Like,
Yeah, it really is.
that's all the things she throws around, right?
That's the one.
Oops.
Well, up we go, I suppose.
Here we are again, the eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode.
We're here because Mr. Garrideb's the one who discovered the incident this morning. Don't forget.
Ah, you chaps, eh?
Yes, good morning, sir.
Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday.
Oh yeah, I do want to check if the cake is still the same. It was quite a trial. As much from Mr. Garrideb as anyone, really.
Came straight back here after all that business at the Bailey yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more bally nonsense this morning.
I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Garrideb.
Yes, I suppose you'd like to know all about that dead loss of an actor chap in the ground floor room.
Those were exactly Inspector Gregson's words, weren't they? Oh, look at him, getting up and all. Let's see if the cake. Oh, it
Yeah,
looks-
still there. I mean, I guess he hasn't got his wife to clear it up for him, so...
That's an impressive collection of cakes on that fancy silver cake stand there.
I feel sure that it was full of cakes when we first investigated in here as well.
Yes, quite right. Haven't touched it since. Haven't done much at all, really, since it all happened. Time's rather stood still for me, you know.
Oh,
Time has stood still. Now that's an interesting phrase. I might be able to use that as an excuse when I'm when I'm next supposed to be tidying the office.
you could just tidy up, Mr. Naruhodo.
like they... No!
Well done.
These shells look like they've been completely torn apart by a wild beast.
It reminds me of the Battle of Maiwan, don't you know?
Ah, the experiences of a seasoned veteran.
The enemy had us surrounded on all sides. We really thought we were done for, the whole ballet company. We were taking a real pounding from their cannons, so all we could do was run for our lives.
Oh, I thought that story was going in a different direction, actually.
Well, the whole experience taught me one thing, I can tell you. When you're done for, you're really done for.
That's not what a lawyer who often finds himself under fire wants to hear.
You're making jokes about Bally repeatedly, and here we are again.
Bally.
Bally. The old Bally. The Bally old Bally.
You look very dashing in your uniform there, Mr. Garridab.
Ah, that old portrait, eh? Drawn by an art student who used to rent the room downstairs.
Oh, you look so wonderfully young and courageous and strong.
Yes, well, the chap presented it to me one day and asked if I'd let him off the month's rent in return.
Oh, I see. So, you did, presumably?
I very well did not.
Oh,
A portrait is a portrait, but rent is rent, eh?
And yet it's still there, proudly on the wall. Okay, Mr. Garrett.
At the same time,
you can't
you
just
can't
do
just
that.
do that without asking first.
No.
Because you cannot also eat a portrait, nor
No.
can you really easily sell a
No,
portrait
exactly.
of yourself. But, you know,
You should have asked first. Yeah.
everyone sucks here.
There's a good view on the wintry.
Over the wintry.
Thank you. There's a good view over the wintry east end from up here. It's an impressively grey scene that's really nothing comparable in Japan, sorry about that. And down below, Briar Road, partially blanketed in snow.
And the pavement where poor Miss Green was struck in the back by that knife. Yeah, and still taking it is kind of an asshole
Yeah.
move. Like I said, everyone sucks here.
Yeah.
Some people may suck a little more than others,
Mhm.
though.
Thinking about it, this is the only room in this building that actually has a window to the outside world. Sometimes Great Britain really does seem like a strange land, doesn't it?
I suppose all foreign cultures seem strange at first.
Imagine how an Englishman would feel on arriving in Japan and seeing people with a chonmage top knot.
Okay, no, yeah. Well, that's a good point.
Everyone sucks here, yippee, yep.
We know what that screen is hiding now. The aftermath of the fierce altercation the other day.
Don't suppose I'll be able to clear that mess up for some time now.
Dear, this must be a very difficult situation for you.
I'll say, people talk about twists of fate and whatnot. But this is a twist and a half. A rotten show all round.
He's clearly struggling with everything that's happened.
This poor pipe.
Yeah, I know, I was just thinking, oh, don't bend it. Good to see Mr. Gary Debs' Medal of Honor still proudly displayed on the wall.
The inscription reads, "For distinguished participation," if you remember.
Yes, I remember, because I remember thinking even I might stand a chance of picking up honors like that.
You wouldn't know it to look at me now, perhaps, but I had my devil-may-care days, you know.
Devil may care. What did you get up to?
Well, all in the past now, of course, and best left there.
Best not, I want to know now. There's a single apron drying on that enormous cannon-shaped clothes horse. Look!
No, Mr. Naruhodo. That's a real cannon.
I knew that. I was just testing you.
Piece of history, that is. Seen plenty of action on the battlefield, I can tell you. Now the old girl and I are just enjoying the peace and quiet of retirement together. And of course, she'd come in handy if the enemy decided to launch an attack again.
Is there a war going on that I don't know about? Nope, didn't mean to click on that. Sorry. Books. Yeah.
Oh, a copy of Rance magazine. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes is being read all over London. It's too wonderful.
Naturally, one asks oneself if such a singular detective could really exist. But having met the chap, it's undeniable he is most certainly singular.
Well, let's hope so. Can you imagine multiple Shams?
I can.
Ugh.
Well, buy one, get one free offer. Singularly dangerous.
That's genuine public opinion for you, Mr. Darto. Perhaps it should be reflected in the stories.
Make no mistake, Mr. Naruhodo. I intend to snuff out the sort of public opinion we just heard, personally.
I'm starting to see where Mr. Sherm's untainted reputation comes from now. Ah yes, those enormous mortar shells. It's quite something seeing them up close, isn't it?
Didn't you say something about firing them into the barracks, Mr. Garrett?
Ah, you remember, do you? Just a little mishap that occurred during training one day. What are you doing firing on your own men? The captain bellowed at me.
I'm not surprised. A little mishap doesn't really do it justice, does it?
Well, one has these little incidents when one's a hot-headed young private.
Perhaps I should put some evidence that resulted from one of my little mishaps on display.
Oh, does the great lawyer, like the great detective, want to exhibit some trophies of his finest moments?
I think I've got most of the items here.
Hopefully.
This morning's incident. It must have been a real shock for you this morning. I hear that you discovered what had happened.
Ah, well, that hopeless actor chap rises at 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. But at 5:30 this morning, he still hadn't lit the gas.
Okay, so...
So he gets up, puts money in the meter, I guess.
Yeah. It also gets me, as an aside, how the fuck did people wake up in such dark places? I would just stay asleep. I would have no sense of time. I mean,
My dear, it's the clock of the alarm. But yeah, I just wouldn't.
No.
So I went down and knocked on his door, but no bally answer.
And that's when you broke into his room by kicking down the door.
Well, called on that rum-looking Japanese chap to do the grunt work, of course.
Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? The man could have just overslept by half an hour.
That's very true, Mr. Naruhodo. If 30 minutes oversleeping warranted such behaviour,
I'd have to kick your door down every morning. Well, better to be safe than sorry and all that.
Is it just me, or is he avoiding our gaze now all of a sudden?
except that it was a sorry situation indeed that you found on the far side of the door.
Mr. Shamspeare.
Shamspeare.
The victim's name is Mr. Shamspeare, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, William Shamspeare. Took the ground floor room 3 months ago now.
And how would you describe him?
In a word, destitute.
Destitute?
Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone wanting to live in a place like that is either broke or has a bally screw loose.
So hard to choose which category. So hard to choose which category Sasaki-san would fall into. Wow.
Mr. Naruhodo, that's a little rude.
He was doing research as well.
Research? Into what?
Soap. Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare. Read a few plays of the old bard myself, you know. Romeo and Hamlet and all that. Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He is known as Sao in Japanese, as you know, and many of his works have already been translated. My apologies for pronouncing that probably very wrong.
It seems incredible that Shakespeare was shortened to Sao, though. Someone was too heavy-handed there. There were a lot of costumes in the victims' rooms, actually, weren't there? Room singular, but you know.
Of course, Mr. Natsume is a scholar of English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shakespeare would have had much in common.
Shakespeare interpretation disagreement leads to shocking murder. Let's hope it's not that.
Mr. Naruhodo, really? How rude!
Well, it's a pretty good probable cause.
I mean,
you
yep.
put two literature nerds together,
Yep.
and that
Murder
might
ensues.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of you have never met Tolkien fans. Yesterday's events. After Mr. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between then and this morning?
Well, now, must have been about 6 in the evening by the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily, as I remember, and it was completely dark already. That failed actor chap was out at the time.
Mr. Garridell noticed there was no light from his room or something, I suppose.
Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so I just sat in front of the fire up here. It was after 8 before Shakespeare got back, and the chap was up until past 1 in the morning, I'll have you know. I suppose he met his end sometime after that. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather in the dark there.
Well, thank you. That was very illuminating.
How does he know?
Yeah, I
he
know,
was up
right?
till 1 if he was asleep.
I know, right?
But okay.
Is everything alright, Mrs. Otto?
Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Garriday, you were up here in your room all evening, if I've understood correctly. I'm not a big fan of stairs, not with this blasted leg. Then, how is it that you seem to know? The precise movements of your tenant on the ground floor, I mean. Ah!
That's a very good point. I can't imagine that you could hear noises from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it?
I say, I know what you're thinking. It's a bally outrage. I'm ex-military, don't you know? I don't go around spying on my tenants. Why would I?
Bless you, Teary.
Poof.
Oh, thanks, niece.
Yeah. Then how did you know, Mr. Garrideb? It's the gas, woman. That gas tells me everything.
The gas? Speaking gas. What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything? Let alone everything.
Well, as you're probably aware, the gas is supplied to the building by pipes.
Yes, I'd more or less worked that out.
Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside, and the gas company supplies gas to properties via the main.
Yes, I understand that too.
Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen?
Well, obviously the room would get brighter.
Exactly, but at the same time, the lights in all the other rooms of the house would dim for a moment.
What? They dim? Why?
Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual, and that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, mightn't it?
Yes, of course, because everything's connected to a single supply pipe.
Is that supposed to happen, though? It sounds rather undesirable. jolly good point. Fact is, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless. Long worn out. And barely got any gas in them to start with. Opposite's also true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here and they glow brighter in the rest of the house.
Ah, right, I see. So by watching the flickering of the lamps in one room, we can determine what's happening elsewhere.
We've got it. Of course. Because when people come back home in the evening, it's before they go to sleep at night. What they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out their lamps and fires.
Clever.
In point of fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above it use slightly different amounts of gas. By watching the lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house.
Gosh, that's fascinating, Mr. Garadeb. Absolutely fascinating.
Oh, well, nothing to it, really.
And I can't really see that it's going to help us with the case either. What I'd like to know is why Mr. Garadeb is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than idle curiosity. Okay. I think he doesn't want to talk about anything else right now.
Seems like it.
I think that means that we have to go to prison. But considering the time,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna say that we'll start with that next time.
And maybe next week we'll also get caught.
Yeah, it would be nice to get caught.
My throat's just fine.
Yeah, the throat is absolutely fine. It's not perishing at all.
Oh, Mr. Garadeb. I mean, it's fine as long as I don't do it too long.
Yeah. Yeah. But even so.
It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Yes. Yeah, maybe we'll get to use the other new cool set.
I love it so much.
But I'm not gonna spoil it yet.
Because prison is going to have more of Suzeki-san. Yeah. It's okay. As per Ganondorf's request, I'm dialing back Suzeki-san.
It's okay, he doesn't get to talk much. It's gonna be mostly
He might well talk quite a lot.
Yeah, he might. We'll see. We will see. So it was a bit uneventful, but we got some flavor text. We finally found out
we've
where
got a corpse.
Yeah, Mr. Shamspear.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll be back next week.
Yes.
Do you have anything to add?
I don't.
The dog is trying to build a nest and it's
She is
failing.
failing.
Oh. Shall
No.
we give you the honors of doing the exit?
I like how you read that like you were dozing off.
Yeah, I'm not.
We got a corpse at least. Yeah, okay.
We
We can
got
know
a
what
corpse
I
at least.
meant.
That's one hell of a sentence. Well, at least we got a corpse.
Said that nothing eventful happened. So I was like, well, okay, somebody died, but sure. I was trying to...
Are you right?
I was trying to
You're
inject
right.
some excitement.
You did.
Corpse. We
Corpse
established
slimy.
that Sholmes rips off buttons when
Oh,
he gets a little frustrated with his violin. Yeah. Fanfic. But yeah. Well then.
Mm.
Thanks for coming to our stream.
Us.
Don't forget. It's not a hot omnibus summer anymore.
It's not.
But keep that bus in your trust. It rhymes, doesn't it? You prefer Funseeks? I prefer Funseeks, honestly.
Same.
But hopefully we'll get him next week. I also want to know Poison Pen Autumn. I do, yeah. It does have sort of a dark academia ring to it.
I like it. Poison Pen Ultra.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't quite hit me the same way Hot Bus Summer did, but you know, we'll do it. I have some ideas. But like you said earlier, Ganadoodles, I also just really want to know what the hell Van Seeks' deal is.
Yes.
Like, I'm having to
Don't
try.
forget any answers.
I
There's
know,
no
right?
guarantee.
I'm genuinely trying so hard though to not look up any kind of
I
spoiler.
know.
Like I am, I'm
Yeah.
verboten.
Yeah.
Like not, no looking.
No.
But it's so tempting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more fun to find out like this on stream
Yes.
for me anyway. So. Anyway, yeah, keep the bus in your trust.
Mm-hmm.
Always follow the couple motto: live, laugh.
Objection!
Yeah. Until next time. You feel be well. Good night.
Night.